What if our perception of reality is merely a sliver of a grander truth? Imagine a universe where dimensions beyond our comprehension exist, shaping everything we know. Could there be more to our world than meets the eye, or even the most advanced instruments? This profound question has captivated thinkers for centuries, pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible. It invites us to consider the limitations of our own senses and the potential for unseen realms. In 1884, Edwin Abbott penned a remarkable novella titled Flatland: A Romance of Many Dimensions. This story introduced us to a world existing entirely on a two-dimensional plane. Its inhabitants were geometric shapes, squares, circles, and triangles, living out their lives unaware of anything beyond their flat existence. One day, a being from a higher dimension, a three-dimensional sphere, decided to visit Flatland. For the Flatlanders, this was an utterly bewildering experience. They could not perceive the sphere's true form. Instead, as the sphere passed through their plane, they saw only a series of changing cross-sections. It appeared as a tiny circle, then grew larger, then shrank again, before vanishing completely. The Flatlanders were left in a state of profound confusion and awe, struggling to reconcile what they saw with their understanding of reality. This raises a crucial question for us. Are we, in our three-dimensional world, akin to these Flatlanders? Are we similarly limited in our perception, unaware of a fourth spatial dimension that might surround us? Could there be an entire axis of reality that remains hidden from our senses? To grasp the concept of higher dimensions, let us first ground ourselves in what we know. Consider a one-dimensional world, a line. Movement in this dimension is restricted to a single axis, either forward or backward. Imagine a cart on a perfectly straight rail, able to move only along that single path. It has no concept of left or right, up or down. Its entire universe is defined by its position on that line. This simple existence highlights the fundamental nature of a single dimension. Now let's expand to two dimensions. This is a flat plane, like the surface of a table or a sheet of paper. Here, movement is possible along two axes, left and right, and forward and backward. A being in two dimensions could roam freely across this flat surface, but it would have no concept of up or down. It could not lift itself off the paper, nor could it perceive anything existing above or below its plane. Its world is entirely flat. Revisiting Flatland, when the three-dimensional sphere interacted with their two-dimensional world, it demonstrated the power of a higher dimension. The sphere simply passed through their plane, creating the illusion of a growing and shrinking circle. The Flatlanders could not grasp that the circle was merely a slice of a larger, more complex object. Similarly, imagine a three-dimensional cube rotating as it passes through Flatland. A Flatlander would observe an ever-changing sequence of two-dimensional shapes, first a point, then a triangle, then a hexagon, then a square, and then back through the sequence. These shifting cross-sections would be utterly baffling, defying all their known geometry. A three-dimensional being possesses extraordinary capabilities when interacting with a two-dimensional world. It could touch the center of a Flatlander's being without piercing its perimeter, simply by reaching down from the third dimension. It could even pick up a Flatlander, flip it over, and return it to its world, leaving the Flatlander disoriented and unable to explain how its internal structure had been inverted. Now let us flip the roles. What if a fourth spatial dimension truly exists, one that we, as three-dimensional beings, are simply unable to perceive? How would a being from such a dimension interact with our world? To visualize our spatial dimensions, think of three rulers placed at perfect right angles to each other, forming the X, Y, and Z axes. These three axes define the length, width, and height of our familiar three-dimensional space. Every point in our universe can be precisely located using these three coordinates. The challenge arises when we try to imagine a fourth ruler. We cannot place a fourth ruler at a perfect 90-degree angle to all three existing rulers simultaneously within our current understanding of space. Our minds, constrained by three dimensions, struggle to conceptualize this additional perpendicular direction. It is a direction that exists outside of our up-down, left-right, and forward-backward framework. Consider then, what would happen if a being from this fourth spatial dimension were to enter our three-dimensional world? Just as the sphere appeared as a changing circle to the Flatlanders, a four-dimensional object would manifest in our reality as a series of shifting three-dimensional forms. A hypersphere, the four-dimensional equivalent of a sphere, would appear to us as a three-dimensional sphere that seemingly materializes out of nowhere, grows larger, then shrinks, and finally vanishes. We would see only its three-dimensional cross-section as it passed through our space. Even more complex, a hypercube or tesseract would appear as a constantly changing, morphing three-dimensional shape. It would seem to twist and fold in impossible ways, its internal structure shifting and reconfiguring before our eyes, defying the laws of our familiar geometry. We would be witnessing its three-dimensional shadow as it rotated through our reality. The capabilities of a four-dimensional being in our world would be truly astonishing. It could reach inside our bodies without cutting our skin, simply by moving along the fourth dimension. It could flip us, inverting our internal organs, or even our entire being, much like a 3D being could flip a Flatlander. It could lift us through an unknown direction, seemingly making us vanish from our space and reappear elsewhere, without traversing any of our three familiar dimensions. Are we then truly blind to higher dimensions, just as the Flatlanders were unaware of up? Is our three-dimensional world all there is? Or are we merely scratching the surface of something far grander and more complex? The universe, in its infinite mystery, may hold secrets that our current perception cannot yet grasp. This exploration of higher dimensions challenges our fundamental understanding of reality. It forces us to confront the limitations of our senses and the boundaries of our current scientific models. While we may never fully perceive or comprehend these higher dimensions directly, the power of imagination allows us to explore these profound possibilities. It is through such thought experiments that we expand our minds and push the frontiers of knowledge. The universe is vast and full of wonders, many of which remain hidden just beyond our current grasp. Continue to question, continue to explore, and continue to imagine the impossible. If you found this journey intriguing, please subscribe, like, and share this video to help us continue unveiling the mysteries of the cosmos.